Hi, I'm Chris Sangster, and welcome back to the studio. As I've mentioned numerous times before, one of my favorite aspects of this community we're growing here around mixing production in Logic Pro is that I learn so much from you all. And on my two previous videos, I got comments recommending two third-party plugins to help solve some of the most prevalent issues in Logic Pro, and man, they are game changers. If you use Logic Pro regularly, you need these two plugins. And don't worry, they're very affordable. So first off, big shout out to Leon Chart and No Qualms the Artist for introducing me to PluginSearch. Don't mind me, I call it PluginSearch for the entire video, but it is definitely called PlugSearch. It's PlugSearch version 4 from SpeakerFood. And Cashmere Chain. Let's start by looking at PluginSearch version 4 from SpeakerFood. This is a must-have plugin for anyone using Logic Pro. I can't believe I just found out about it, honestly. For starters, it solves the #1 most requested missing feature of Logic Pro, the ability to search for plugins. With PluginSearch installed, menu diving is finally over. All you have to do is hover your cursor over a plugin slot, press Control on your keyboard, type in the name of your desired plugin, and hit enter. Then PluginSearch does all the menu diving for you and loads the plugin in the selected slot. So cool. But that's not all. It also allows you to remove a plugin just by hovering over it with your mouse and pressing Command on your keyboard. No more finding that stupid no plugin menu setting. You can also quickly search for inputs, outputs, and buses. Hover your cursor over an input, output, or send lane and press Control, and you get the menu to search through all of the inputs and outputs of your audio interface, as well as all of your available buses. What I find super helpful is that if you hover over a send lane and press Control, you can then tab to these different menus by hitting Control again. There's one for buses that already have assignments and one for empty buses, giving you a great visual reference of all of your available bus assignments. You can also use this search function to set the sidechain input of plugins. Just hover over the sidechain input of the compressor plugin on your bass track, press Control, and search for your kick track, and hit enter. There you go. Routing for sidechain compression done. But you can take this to a whole different level in PluginSearch version 4 with its ability to edit I/O labels automatically. In the menu to search for a bus send, click this drawer icon in the top right. This will allow you to automatically change the names of the buses to match the names of their destination aux tracks. So you see here that bus 1 is now called plate and bus 2 is now called room. Of course, you may be aware that I/O labels in Logic Pro are saved globally and not on a project-to-project basis like a lot of us want them to be. But PluginSearch has a fix for this as well. Click on the PluginSearch status menu in the top bar of your Mac and choose I/O Labels Manager. This window allows you to save presets for your I/O labels. Just click the plus button in the bottom left to save a new preset. So you could save a default preset or a mixing preset or save song-specific presets for easy recall when changing projects. There are a couple other cool features of PluginSearch as well. One is the ability to search for tracks. Just hover your cursor over a track header and press Control, and you can search for any track name in your session to bring it into view in the main window. This is especially helpful for very large sessions. There's also this super clever feature available if you right-click on a plugin in the PluginSearch window. You could click here to open a YouTube search in your browser so that you could quickly find tutorials on plugins that you are unsure of how to use. You could also Google search or go to the manufacturer's website. And this is just scratching the surface with this insanely powerful plugin. You can really dive in and customize the categorization of plugins, create favorites, and write notes for each plugin. You can even use it to assign a MIDI controller to open plugins at the touch of a button. It's such a great application. And the best part is, it's $30 freaking. What a steal. Honestly, it's more useful for Logic Pro users than plugins that cost 10 times that amount. The next plugin was in response to my video on linking the control of multiple plugin instances in Logic Pro, and it makes that complicated process completely unnecessary. It's also way more powerful and easier to set up than that stock method in Logic Pro. It's called Cashmere Chain, and it is awesome. Within Cashmere Chain, there are two plugins. You've got the chain leader and the chain follower. And this setup allows you to create an entire channel strip of plugins within the leader version and then have every instance of the follower version replicate this chain exactly. And best of all, any changes made to the plugins within the leader version are made in real time within the follower versions. This allows you, for instance, real-time control over the intensity of auto-tune across multiple vocal tracks. But it also allows a much quicker workflow to automate the filter sweep on the drum tracks that I demoed in my previous video. Here's the streamlined workflow. First, let's get rid of all of these Pro Q3s that we laboriously linked together with MIDI. Then we'll add the chain leader plugin to the kick drum track. Now there's one limitation to note here about Cashmere Chain. You cannot use Logic stock plugins inside of it. You can only use plugins that have individual component files within your audio plugins folder. Because the Logic stock plugins are contained as part of the Logic Pro application, they're not accessible by Cashmere Chain. This also prevents you from using Waves plugins if you have your Waves plugins installed as part of the Waves shell. However, we still have lots of plugins to choose from, so we're again going to go with FabFilter Pro Q3 to do our filter sweep effect. We will set up our high cut filter with an increased Q for that resonant bump as before. Then we're going to load the chain follower plugin on our snare drum track. And in it, we're going to change this group down here to group A, so it is linked to the leader track. And now you see we have our EQ plugin loaded here as well. And if I make changes to the EQ on the leader track, the EQ on the follower track mirrors those moves exactly. Then we'll copy the follower plugin to all of the other drum tracks. Now we have our static effect across all the drum tracks. To automate the filter sweep effect, we have to assign a macro control within the leader plugin. But it's super simple to do. Open the leader version and open the EQ plugin. Click this Learn button at the top and then move the frequency cutoff parameter. Then click this list icon here to open the macro list. And you see we have our parameter ready to be assigned. Click in the source box on the left and choose macro 1. Now we can put our kick drum track into latch automation mode and write our filter sweep automation by adjusting this first macro knob. And all of the follower tracks will follow right along with this automation. So much easier, no MIDI controller necessary, and no need to open that pesky environment. But this is only one use for this awesome plugin. It can also be used to load VST plugins inside of Logic Pro. It gives you a wet and dry knob for plugins that don't feature that natively, allowing for parallel processing of any plugin you want. And you can create multiple complex plugin chains and copy them across many tracks in your session using the 15 different groups available. And at only 49 bucks, it's super affordable for such a powerful workflow enhancer in Logic Pro. I'm so glad you guys taught me about these great plugins, and they are definitely going to enhance my workflow in Logic Pro. And hopefully I've passed along this knowledge to some of you that didn't know about these two great plugins, and they can take your Logic Pro game to the next level. What other must-have third-party plugins are out there for enhancing workflow in Logic Pro? I know there's some more I don't know about. Drop a comment below and let me know your favorites. And just before we go, I want to tell you about a free resource that I made just for all of you. A topic that causes a lot of confusion in Logic Pro are buses. So I've created the definitive guide to buses in Logic Pro. In this comprehensive video guide, you will learn what buses are, how to use them, and advanced bussing techniques. We start with the very basics and go all the way through some pretty advanced stuff, so I truly believe there's something in this video guide for everyone. Hit the link in the description box below the like button and download your free copy today. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the studio next time. Thanks.